The extension is .bgz. How do you work with that? Hi, everyone. I am Saniya Kulin, and this cutie here is cute little Yankee. And in this video, just like how SpongeBob is learning from Mr. Krabs, I'm going to teach Yankee and you guys how to extract and convert a .bgz file. If you have a file with a .bgz extension, how do you convert that to a .gz file? And if there's anything else, like if it's a tar file, how do you get a .csv? So how do you work with this .bgz file and convert it to a file that you can work with, like a gz file, which you can gunzip, or a tsv file, tab separated format, or any format, you know, but if the extension is .bgz, how do you work with that? So I'm Saniya Kulin, I'm Mr. Krabs here, and this cutie is cute little Yankee. And in this video, we'll be talking about how to do this using the command line. But I will have another video out that will be on using this operation, doing this in Python. Please check out those videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and reach out with any and all questions that you have. So I've come up with an example of some .bgz files, and we're going to see how to extract that. And I have videos talking about Windows subsystem for Linux, in case you have a Windows computer. So I like to call it as Ubuntu. It technically is a Ubuntu emulator. Linux computers have Ubuntu. So please do check those out. I have a whole playlist and videos talking about downloading and getting set up with that. So let's get started with that. So the first things first, guys, is let me show you the folder where this all is. So on my computer, on my F drive, I have this example BGZ folder here, and it has quite a few different BGZ files. But I want to go to command line only because in this video, we're talking about the command line only here. So a few more files are being added, but I want to have us navigate to this folder here. So I'm just kind of copying over these files here to the command line folder. So that when we work with it, in case we make any mistakes, we can always go back and access the original file. So you have these .bgz files. I recommend doing this at least till you do it correctly, because if you do it incorrectly, this unzipping, then the data could get corrupted. So I recommend always making a little copy. So that's what's happening. I'm making a little copy as well. So we can work with that. But let's navigate to this folder here. Now on Windows, you can see that the path is my F drive, example BGZ, command line only. So I'm going to open up my Windows subsystem for Linux, Ubuntu, on Windows. Which is where we are here. So this is this, you know, cute little emulator. So I'm going to do CD /mount. I'm mounting my F drive. Mount F. And then the folder is example BGZ. So I'm going to do CD example. Okay, so I have my example BGZ file here. And then I just want to list everything here. So I can go to the command line only. So in this one, we'll be just talking about command line, CD, command line only. And we can just list out what's here right now. So we can see aaa.bgz, bbp.bgz, and ccc.bgz, ddp.bgz, eee.bgz, and please subscribe. So we have a couple more, like Saniya and the other one that are being copied over right now. Okay, so now we have hopefully almost have everything being copied, but in the most part, we have all of these 8 files, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, all 8 of our original files, including, you know, Yankee. You have your own BGZ file. I have my own. Please subscribe. There are quite a few there. So they've been copied over. So we have a copy of these as well. So what you can do if you want to just do this for one, I'll show you for one how we can do this operation. You see that these extensions are BGZ. So BGZ is a file extension that is typically associated with the blood frontier map files and a lot of other biological use cases for this .bgz. So one of the things you can do is to do something called a move, MV, to move it from a .bgz to a .gz. And then when we have it as a .gz, it becomes easier for us to work with as a gz file. We can unzip it or work with it as needed. But as of now, it's currently a little bit complex to work with. We don't really know how to work with this. It's not super intuitive. So we want to see these .bgz files here. That's what we want to see. And we have all 8 of them here. So I'm going to show you how to do this for one example. So we can just choose aaa.bgz here. You see it's a .bgz here. So let's pay attention to this one here. I'll show you how. And what I can also have to do is just do MV and then aaa tab for .bgz. So I want to move this file, aaa.bgz. I want to move it from this. This is the name. And the new name will be the next argument. If there's a new source, a destination, I can put the slashes, like again, if, this is how you would write this, in the Windows subsystem for Linux. If I want to move it to another folder, I would have to write that in front of it. But the way that it's going to go, it is going to go for move, file name, new file name. I'm going to, in fact, call this old file name to the new file name. So that's what it's going to do, this mapping here from old file name to the new file name. So the extension for the old file name will be .bgz here for the old file name, and the new file name, I'm going to keep the extension as a .gz. It's the same, but I'm just changing the extensions. So the example is MV aaa .bgz. I'm moving this file from a .bgz file to just aaa.gz. That's all I'm doing, move. MV is short for move. You'll see that it's the same thing was here. And now you're going to see that it changed from a .bgz file to a gz file. So if I do ls, if I list everything in the folder, it's aaa.gz. So I can do this for the others. It's a .gz file. It is a .gz file. And we would want to then like gunzip it as well, extract the contents out of this file, which we can do. We can also just do gunzip. And then I can do aaa.gz, and this will help me extract the contents of this file. That's what we're going to try to do if I need to. I can just do gunzip operation. And it's still working, so don't get worried. So now it's turned into a file as well here. It's still in progress, but I can then gunzip it as needed and extract the contents of the .gz file, which will be easier to work with. But like if I want to do this, like so this is happening in the meantime. So I'm just going to launch another session of this Ubuntu in the meantime while that's unzipping. But we can do this for all the others right now too. You see like how essentially what we showed is we can change this here to like aaa.gz. We did this mapping here. We did this. That's what we've done. That's the beauty of what we've done from this to this. Yeah, you can see it's still extracting the contents from this file. But let me also just get started again on another session, and we can have multiple sessions too open. It's just gonna probably slow down your computer a bit, but it's nothing against having multiple sessions, CD command line. And we can see this, and I can do the same thing again I can rename the file as well. I can just do MV to move it again. So it's still, now it's been progress since it's being unzipped. This gunzip has slashed out the .gz and just made it aaa here. So now I can just try the same thing again. I can just do mv bbb dot this .bgz, and I want to do bbb dot gz. And now we can keep our eye out for this here. That's a .bgz. We're focusing now on this bbb. And you're going to see how it changes to a gz. This is still in progress. This is now a gz. The rest are .bgz files here. ccc.bgz, ddd.bgz, eee. Please subscribe, Saniya and Yankee here. So like if you want to do this for many different examples, like if we could do this multiple times, but let's say you have so many .bgz files, how would you do this repeatedly? You know, that's the key question. How would you do this repeatedly? So there's a for loop you can use. So what it's going to do here, this kind of a loop, these instructions here, they're going to help us rename all of these .bgz files that we have. In other ways, this for loop I'm going to show you is going to help us do this moving operation. It's going to help us move from one file type, from a .bgz to a .gz for all the files in the same folder that we're in. That's what I'm going to show you, a code that can help you, because if you have so many of them, you'll be wondering, okay, well, how do I do this? You know, we don't, like in this case, okay, that the gunzipping is running. There's even a way to do gunzipping efficiently, which I'll show you, you know, to recursively do it for everything inside the file. But what I'll show you will work on things that are in the same file path, you know, print working directory. Everything inside this working directory, all these .bgz files, it can work on this. All these .bgz files. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 remaining. Otherwise, you can just keep doing MV. But you may come upon a time when you have so many files, Yankee, and you're so tired and you don't want to keep on doing this. Oh, he wants to sleep. So there may come a time where you just want to sleep and cuddle, huh? So I'll show you how to do this efficiently. So the key idea is that all you have to do is this for loop here. So we want to rename all the .bgzs to .gzs. So for f in .bgz, so again, whatever file you want to rename, we want to rename all of these .bgzs to gz. So we can work with this, and then I can show you next how to gunzip them. You can then gunzip this .gz file. So for all of these files here, we want to hone in on this, and this being here, and this being here. And we want to convert them to .gz. So in our keys. So this is just a comment. You don't need this comment here. It's just a comment. That's all that it is. The real thing that we're looking at is just this box of code here. So for for each file that has a .bgz extension. So in our case, each of those files is just going to be this right here. So for file in this, let me show you. It's going to be this right here. So for each of those files that ends in a .bgz, do the following, please. We're going to call this move operation that we've been doing, the same move. We will move the file to instead of ending in a .bgz, we're going to have it end in a .gz instead. That's what we're going to do. That's the operation we're going to do. So this will rename all .bgz files to .gz. So I'm going to also try to share this in the bio. You can hopefully pause this and then do these operations here. But what this would be here is the following. I'm just going to, again, list everything out before. Again, it's the same. And I can even paste the comment. This is a for loop. So for each .bgz file, it's going to do this. Do this moving operation for each of these repeatedly. The old file a new file ending in a .gz. So it's going to take a few seconds, but it's going to work, hopefully. And now you can see that we have these, now these are .gzs. Before they were .bgzs, but now they're .gzs. We can see that all of these now are .gz files. That's so exciting. You know, we've gotten them to be .gz files, Yankee. That's exciting. So then there's just one operation that we can do to get it for all of the files in the folder. We can do gunzip for a given file separately, or what we can do, and this probably will not finish in this video because these files are kind of big as well. But so you'll see that they're all gz except for this one, which is still being gunzipped. So it's going to take some time. But if you want to do this for all the files in a folder, you can do gunzip /r. It's recursively applying this for all the appropriate .gz files. So it looks for the .gz files. That's what it does. It looks up for the .gz files and it's going to gunzip them. So aaa is already a work in progress. So you're going to see how it's still happening. You're going to see how it's going to focus on BBB onwards. So this is recursively applying this operation of gunzipping the files here. So you can see how BBB is next as a file, right? So it's going through and it's doing each of them without us needing to specify it. So ultimately, we will have a bunch of files here that we can see. And since this is already a file, I know it's still gunzipping, but we can still kind of view some preliminary statistics about this. And I talked about this in other videos too. So we can view some preliminary statistics, another session that I've opened up, and we can just list everything. We can say that aaa is a file, BBB is a file. It's taking a long time. And I can do something called head -n, like 3, for instance, to view the first 3 lines of aaa, which I could not do before. And what's really key is that if I had just tried to look at, like this is the Python, I have not made this video yet, so I'm just going in the Python one, for instance. If I just tried to do head -n for aaa.bgz, you would see how messy it looks. We can't decipher what this is. We cannot figure out what this is at all. You know, if I tried the same, like view the first 5 rows, or even if I tried to view the first 3 rows, it looks like gibberish. There's no way, Yangshi, there's just no way we can understand what this is, but there's secretly some key data there that we can work with. And this is what we get from doing this on the file. If I did this head -n on 3 on, let's say, Yangshi, let me make him a little bit more interested. It also looks like gibberish too, even this gz. So, but when we already have it as a file, it looks a lot better. Like I can do this for aaa, I can do this for BBB, and they look kind of different right now. You can see these are some different values, but this is kind of how you do this overall. And what we did is, again, we were doing this example where we just did this gunzip for one. It'll give us some errors if needed along the way, but this is gunzip recursive for all the files. So to gunzip all the files in a folder, you can just do gunzip, unzip, r, and then start unzip all.gz files in current folder, the working directory that you have. That's what this will do. Otherwise, you can just do a straight up gunzip for the specific file. But hopefully you can make more sense now of the data that you have. Whatever I want to, you can apply to for various file names. If you want to change one file name to another, you can use this, but just make sure you change accordingly what you need. If you want to change .csv or something to .tsv, then you could do this here. If you want to change this, you could do for all the files in .csv, do the following, change this CSV to a TSV. You just have to make it all consistent. This is the old, and this is the new extension. Thank you, guys. And I will have one on doing this in Python too. So stay tuned. And let us know if you have any and all questions. Thank you. So that's what I've learned along the way. So I'm Saniya. This is Cute Little Yangshi. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe. Please reach out with any and all questions that you have. I'm really happy to help you guys. Thank you and have a great and lovely day. Mwah.